Hey guys, Kimmy Vapes here. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing the Aequitas RDA by AmbitionZ Vaper and Hellvape. Let's have a vape, go down below, and see what comes with it. Okay, and here it is, the Aequitas RDA by AmbitionZ Vaper and Hellvape. Now, this RDA was sent to me for the purpose of this review by Hellvape themselves. Let's go ahead and take a look at the packaging. Here on the front, you'll see that we have this nice little Celtic design. The name of the RDA, which I believe some people have said it's pronounced Aequitas. I was calling it Aequitas, but I guess that's the incorrect pronunciation. Here on the side, you'll see this rosary type design. Of course, then it has AmbitionZ Vapor's name and logo and Hellvape there. So when you open up the package, you'll see the Aequitas RDA with the Celtic design there. It comes with a colored acrylic drip tip pre-installed. The color of the acrylic is dependent on which color you choose of the RDA. And then you have this small box here which contains your extra parts and pieces. In the accessory box, you're going to receive one baggie, which includes a flathead screwdriver and 2 different sized Allen keys. And you're going to receive a second baggie, which has a 510 drip tip adapter, a black Delrin 810 drip tip, spare Allen head grub screws, and spare O-rings. As well as also, you will see there is a squonk pin. Inside the box is also a card, which again shows that this RDA was designed by AmbitionZ Vaper and manufactured by Hellvape. It has a link to AmbitionZ Vapor's YouTube channel where he goes over the RDA. And flipping it over, it gives a brief description of the deck design and the barrel design and how it works. So the RDA is 24 millimeters in diameter. It has a gold-plated postless raised style deck. The airflow holes are 9 millimeter by 2.5 millimeter. It has 2 options for airflow, top and bottom. You can flip the barrel upside down. Has a flathead and Allen key screws included, an 810 resin drip tip, an 810 Delrin drip tip, and the 510 stainless steel adapter included. It also includes the gold-plated squonk pin. So before we take off the top cap and take a look at the deck, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the design here. You'll see at the top here there is a rosary design that goes all the way around the top cap. And then on one side of the RDA, you have the Celtic design and blank on the other. So here's what they're calling the postless raised style deck. Let's go ahead and put that to the side. Taking a closer look at the top cap here. This top cap is in 2 pieces. However, if you take off the top cap, which houses the drip tip, you'll see on the inside there is no airflow control. You do have one single O-ring. Flipping it over, it does have a nice conical shape to it and a little bit of a lip which sits down inside the deck. Taking the 810 style drip tip out, you will see there is an O-ring on the inner diameter of the top cap, which allows you to press fit goon style 810 drip tips. On the top of the cap, you'll see where it says Aequitas, or also pronounced Aequitas. Taking a look at the center barrel section here, you'll see that you have a groove on the inner portion of the barrel, which has a notch on either side, which matches up to the notches that are on the build deck there. Hopefully my camera can focus on this and show it up. It's kind of hard because the whole inside is black, but aside from that first initial ledge there, you'll see you also have a ledge right there at your airflow slot, and that is because these airflow slots are angled. And flipping the barrel the other way, again you'll see that first ledge where your deck will stop, and a notch for the deck to seat into the top cap, and a second ledge above the airflow. So looking at it with what would be called top side up, your airflow is going to be raised, and the angle of the airflow is going to point downward at your coils, flipping the deck over. So as the airflow is bottom side, your airflow is going to angle upwards at your coils. Now to adjust this airflow, you actually do have to place it onto the deck. And the reason for that being is that this inner ring where your airflow is press fit. So what you'll do is you'll place your barrel onto your deck and you'll see where it stops and just slightly twist it until you feel it seat down. Once it seats down on the deck, the bottom of the deck should be flush with the bottom of the top cap. Now you're able to adjust your airflow. So at that point, if you keep turning it counterclockwise, it's going to actually unscrew the RDA from your mod. Turning it clockwise, you'll see that it opens the airflow all of the way. So currently I have the airflow situated at the bottom, which still gives you a decent amount of space from the bottom of the deck to the lip of the airflow. Taking a look down at where my coils are sitting, you'll see that I have my coils sitting, the outer edge of my coil sitting flush with the outer edge of the posts. And the way that that airflow works there, pointing upwards, you'll see as I stick my tweezers in there, my airflow is going to come up and hit the center top part of my coils. Now, if I leave my coils in this position, that is how high they are raised from the posts. Not very high, only about 2 millimeters above those posts. Or I flip my barrel. So now that my airflow is at the top of my barrel, and we take a look at how the airflow hits the coils. That airflow making a downward swoop is going to be hitting the top half of my coils. It's not going to make it all the way underneath. So what I recommend when building on this RDA is if you're going to use the top airflow, make sure to raise your coils high enough, because as you can see, we still have some space from the top cap that we could have raised those coils and not had any interference with hitting the top cap. We could have raised those another 1 or 2 millimeters, and what that would have allowed to do is for the airflow to come from underneath the coil, the side, and the bottom of that coil. So definitely want to think about that when building this RDA. Now taking a look at the deck, you'll see here we have a completely gold-plated deck. You have your positive and your negative. Both of the posts are removable. Your positive is surrounded by this PEEK insulator, and in the center here you'll see a little PEEK block, and what that is for channeling your e-liquid when you're in squonk mode. This allows the e-liquid to come up through the center and then channel out on either side of that PEEK into the juice wells. Now the juice wells on here are not very large because of the way that the deck is built and how large those posts are. We have some dead space over here and some dead space over here. So your juice flow is just large enough that you're going to lay your cotton down in there, and then of course if you're squonking, that e-liquid's just going to flow right into the deck. The e-liquid wells aren't really deep, but it is, if you look there, you do have a good 4 millimeters deep of a juice well. So it's deep enough that dripping on it, that e-liquid should be able to sit in that juice well. And of course, if you've got it in the top side airflow position, you're going to be able to fill up this deck completely with e-liquid much higher than if you do have it in the bottom side airflow position. So each one of these posts here are a square post with a 2.5 by 2.5 millimeter hole drilled out of the center of them. This is postless, so you do have to pre-clip your leads. Typically what I do is I judge the length of my leads and how I want to clip them by sitting them down into this area here between the posts and judging how long I want my leads from there. Now there is one thing to take into account, and that is your airflow on your barrel. And if you're going to use the top airflow, you may want to leave them a little bit longer to bring them up if you like your airflow coming up under your coils. And of course, leaving them a little shorter when you're using that bottom airflow. The type of coils that I have installed in here currently are the tri-core fused Claptons by Coilology. You want to make sure that you wick your coils nice and snug to where when you pull on it you feel some tension, but you're not so much that when you pull on it you warp your coils. I'm able to pull it through nice and freely, but when I give a little tug, it'll move my mod, and that's just how snug I want them, nice and tightly wicked. Cutting my cotton, I just pull it down to the edge of the deck. And then lightly tuck my cotton into the bottom of that juice well. The e-liquid that I will be using today is the IVG Desserts line Strawberry Pastry. And keep in mind when you're dripping on this RDA with the top cap off, try not to get the e-juice over here in this what I call dead space where there is no juice well, because what can happen is it can actually go over the ledge and drip onto your mod. So try to make sure that you're dripping on the sides of the cotton here where that juice well can catch any extra e-liquid, and then of course right there in the center. Go ahead and line up your airflow. Gently press your barrel down and give it a nice little turn until you feel those notches catch on the barrel. And that is the Aequitas RDA. Let's go back up top, have a vape, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions. Okay, and that was an up and close look of the Aequitas RDA. So what are my thoughts and opinions? Well, first, I don't care how it's pronounced. I probably will say Aequitas quite a bit in this video. I just cannot seem to remember how to pronounce this, and I say it all different ways. So if you notice, they changed the pronunciation throughout the video. I'm sorry. It's just one of those difficult names. So anyway, back to the RDA. What are my thoughts and opinions? Well, AmbitionZ has said in his video that this is a Boondocks, I believe, a Boondock Saints inspired as far as the naming and the design, the decorum design of it. So the Celtic, the rosary at the top, I think are all beautiful. I don't watch the Boondock Saints, but I do like the design of the RDA as far as the visual aesthetics. I really enjoy this matte black. It's really beautiful. I like the resin drip tips that come with it. The overall machining quality of it is really nice. Everything came flawless, no defects, no issues with the screws. So all of that checked off good. Of course, it comes with all the spare parts, the O-rings, the spare grub screws, the drip tip adapter, all of those things that you expect to get in your package. So I'm really happy with that. Now let's talk about the performance of the RDA. Great flavor. I really get good, wonderful flavor from this, and I also get good airflow from it. It's not the most wide open airflow I've ever had, but, and I know everybody's already done this, let's go ahead and compare the airflow to the Dead Rabbit. If you're someone that liked the airflow of the Dead Rabbit, this airflow is almost identical. And I say almost because there are some differences to the way this airflow works and to the way the Dead Rabbit airflow works. Obviously, the Dead Rabbit had the top cap airflow that you adjust, and the way that the angle worked was slightly different. So this airflow is not identical, and of course it all depends on your coil position as to how this airflow is going to perform as well. But as far as smoothness, I'm very happy with the airflow when it's wide open. It's nice and smooth and whooshy, and like I said, I get good flavor from the RDA as well. Now let's go into the deck design. So the deck, it's not anything really new and inventive. It's more of like a culmination of things that we've already seen this past year that work really well. So the fact that it has a very drop-like style post system, but without the ability to clip your leads from underneath. I like the drop style posts. I like that you bring your coils in from the top, and also that when you screw into the post, you're screwing into the flat side of the coil so as that you're not twisting and warping your coils. Now, one thing I will say about the posts on this deck is that the posts are pretty close together and there's not a lot of space in between the posts. So if you're someone that likes those really intricate, wide, beefy builds, you're going to find that your coil may not fit in this deck. And that's something that's subjective, because really, in my opinion, I use the coils that are fit for my RDA. I don't try to cram a build into an RDA that RDA just can't handle. I build according to the RDA and of course according to the battery that I'm using. The other thing about the deck is that you have to pre-cut your leads. You can't install your coils and then cut the leads. So if you're someone that doesn't like the postless deck because you have to pre-cut, this deck may not be for you, because you will have to cut your leads before installing them. I personally have no problem. I like postless. I like post decks. You know, I'm a big fan of anything that performs well. And I definitely think that this RDA performs well. Now let's talk about this unique barrel / top cap. So I have a couple subjective opinions about this top cap. One is that I like that he included the notches on the deck and for that central barrel. Obviously that had to be done because they used a press fit barrel to control the airflow, and being that the airflow control is actually on the barrel, you would have to notch the deck or add notches to the barrel so as that you can adjust that airflow. However, what I don't like about this airflow is when you cut it down. Whenever you cut down the airflow, you're blocking off half of your coil because it's notched in place. There's no taking your top cap off and adjusting it to recenter that hole over the center of your coil. So I don't like that because I feel it gives an unbalanced vape to the airflow, and I don't feel like it's evenly cooling my coil. I always prefer for my airflow to hit directly the center of my coil because that's how a coil heats. It heats from the inside out. So I would like to have seen him do something that would have allowed for me to keep my airflow centered to the center of the coil. And of course, I understand that in order for him to achieve what he was going through with this deck and with the barrel options, it wasn't possible to do that and still allow for you to be able to flip the barrel the other way and move it from top side airflow to bottom side airflow. I would have rather have seen him just include 2 top caps, 2 different barrels for that purpose, and then notch the deck in a way that would keep your airflow completely centered and use airflow control on the top cap. And that to me would have been better than designing this all-in-one top cap. But that, again, is just my opinion, personal preference. It doesn't really affect the way it vapes. If you're okay with vaping it wide open, you're not going to have any issues with that turbulence or off-centered airflow. I think AmbitionZ did a great job. I can see that he thought this through, and he took parts and pieces from things that he really enjoyed and made a really nice RDA. So that's my thoughts and opinions on the RDA. If you guys like this video, please hit the thumbs up. Let me know down in the comments, what do you think about the Aequitas? Oh, there, I did it. The Aequitas RDA. And if you feel like something should have been done different, or if you think it's great the way it was done. Also, you guys, if you aren't already, please hit that subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, be sure to hit that bell notification icon, and then hit the bell notification icon again on the area where it asks you to go ahead and get notifications for all videos, if you want to see all of my uploads. Otherwise, YouTube will show you when it feels like it, when I upload a video. Anyway, I'm rambling. Thank you again, guys, for watching. Until next time, bye-bye.